Hey, good morning and welcome to Business Equity and Opportunities. I'm Scott Sander. We are out of our element today and could not be more excited about it. This is one of the main halls for Rally 25, downtown Indianapolis at the Convention Center. So many stories unfolding here. People with great ideas, some with venture capital. Getting them together is the whole idea behind this. So we've got full coverage. We even put together a mobile set, if you will, where we find our newest teammate. Derek Dennis is with us, joining the BE&O team. You've been out on the floor. Your impression so far?
You know, there's a lot of great things here to see. I mean, there's the driving simulation, there's, the rally shop with all the cool merchandise, but I think the best part is seeing the connection that's been happening, eavesdropping on some of the conversations, the deal making, the networking, the sharing of ideas. I think that's really the heart of Rally 2025.
Those conversations are happening out there and on this yellow couch. We've talked to a lot of people and plan to talk to many more. Let's start this hour at the very top of the roster, the keynote speaker.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Getting started.
Fear is absolutely natural because this is a risky endeavor, right? You're going after a market, you're expanding super rapidly, there's a lot of strains. We often compare it to building a jet engine while you're on the plane and you're flying it. You're like, hey, we need to increase the size of this jet engine. We're flying. Okay, just figure out how to make it, repair it, do it, whatever the case may be. So fear is natural, but if you understand why you're taking that risk, if you understand the potential payoffs of that risk, then it becomes easier to handle. The other thing I say is just get used to that kind of uncertainty. If you're an entrepreneur, especially those entrepreneurs out there who haven't taken the plunge yet, yeah, it's going to be scary. But if you are able to manage it, if you've got a supportive spouse, supportive family, supportive friends around you, you could take that risk and it could pay off.
We talk to friends and neighbors in our audience. A lot of the time that fear can keep them on the sideline. There's also a point in the process where that fear may prevent them from saying, I'm ready to talk to a venture capitalist. I'm ready to talk to somebody who has my life in their hands, as somebody who has really, I think, is it correct to say, sort of grown into that? That wasn't your original goal, but it became your life.
Absolutely. So, I started off, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Then I realized I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And after being an entrepreneur and running companies for a while, I was like, well, this is a natural evolution to becoming an investor. Because at the end of the day, what I really love is helping other people achieve great things. Like, I derive plenty of satisfaction from helping others, and that's the best reason for someone to be an investor. So the thing about that fear is you have to understand the entire situation. So first of all, I think that it's quite possible to reduce the fear by saying, okay, I can get comfortable with uncertainty, but let me figure out how to limit the downside. If every time you started a company, you're saying, okay, if I fail, I'm going to be disgraced and bankrupt, that's not very encouraging. And by the way, most companies fail. So if you are starting a company under those circumstances, you're really brave or maybe dumb. You should find a way for the downside to be mitigated. So it's like, okay, great. If I'm a founder, I'm starting a company, let me figure out how much I'm willing to spend. And let me cap that. And if I get to that point and it's not working, guess what? You know what? I can cut my losses. The other thing you need to do, as when you think about going to a venture capitalist, is to understand what venture capitalists are looking for. People think, oh, I need to prove the value of my company. I'm like, so they don't know for sure that your company is going to succeed. In fact, they know for a fact that 90% of the companies they invest in are going to fail. What you need to convince them is that you have a remarkable opportunity and that you're giving them a good shot at actually succeeding, that you understand what the risks are and how to mitigate them, right? You cannot possibly guarantee that you're going to succeed, but you can show them that you understand the risks and that you're taking steps to mitigate those risks to give them the best chance to have a huge outcome.
So understanding your upside, your ceiling, is as important, it sounds like, as worrying about the downsides.
Absolutely. Investors don't care about the downside. The downside for them is they lose all their money on your investment. That's what they expect to do. That's the default. A little tougher for you as an entrepreneur. But what really matters is the upside, because let's say as an entrepreneur, you sell your company for $20 million. That's incredible. Your life has changed. For the investor, that probably didn't move the needle. They might have a $100 million fund and they might own 10% of your company, so they got $2 million. Great. That's a 2% return. I need another 30 or I need another 100 of those in order to succeed. So what they are looking for is the companies that are going to deliver the 100x return, the 1000x return. Facebook, way back when, the first round of funding, Peter Thiel, my partner Reid Hoffman, they bought 10% of Facebook for $500,000. Facebook is now worth $1.6 trillion today. You can do the math on that. Going from 5 million to 1.6 trillion, that's quite a multiple. And that makes up for a lot of losses.
When we talk venture capital, we're talking huge numbers. When we're talking going to local investors,
yes,
conversation becomes a little bit different.
Absolutely.
Have you had much experience in that regard, and what would you see as the differences?
Yeah, so I think that almost every founder starts off by raising some money from friends and family. And so this is an interesting position to be in, because what you want to do is you want to get the best deal for yourself, but you're also dealing with people that are your friends and family. And some of the entrepreneurs I talk with, they get a little hung up on this. I'm like, listen, it's okay to give the people who believed in you from the start, when nobody else would, a good deal, right? The fact that they're going to do super well when you eventually succeed, that actually is a feature, not a bug. And so what I would say when approaching local investors is start with friends and family. Don't be afraid to give them a good deal. Jeff Bezos' brother and his parents were some of the earliest investors in Amazon. Guess what? They did well.
Also sounds like you need to have different messages for the different people you're speaking with. Your
Absolutely.
consumer needs to hear one thing, your investor needs to hear something very different.
Absolutely, and this is why storytelling is so essential for every entrepreneur. Now you're going to tell different stories to different audiences. It's just like if you're telling a story to your 5-year-old child, it's very different than telling a story to your mom or dad. But guess what? Same storytelling elements apply. You have to figure out a way to emotionally compel them and get them to do what you're looking for them to do.
Tell me about conversations that happen here. And they may or may not involve venture capital, but they could be critical in a person's life. When you're at an event like this, what sort of makes your heart sing when you see two people talking, and what makes you go, ooh, I wish this were happening in a different way?
Well, I think one of the things I'm really looking for is that energy and enthusiasm, right? If people are talking about something and they're really meshing, they're really excited, maybe it's an entrepreneur, investor or something like that, you'll see the energy coming off them, right? It's very rare that you see people like, oh, they must not like each other. I guess he's going to invest, right? So I'm looking for that kind of engagement. And then the other thing is looking for what actually happens over the long run. I've had the privilege, because I've been an author for a while and speaking and doing all this kind of stuff for a while, for people to come to me and say, oh, this is how it changed my life. I actually have one from an entrepreneur who told me the story at South by Southwest. I randomly ran into her at South by Southwest. She told me the story of how reading Blitzscaling had changed the trajectory of her and her brother's company. It was going to go out of business, and instead now it's actually a company that's got tens of millions in revenue.
What are you doing now? You don't seem like someone who sits still very long.
Yeah, so what I do right now is I combine a bunch of different things. I write books and speak to audiences like this one, which is why it's so good to be here at Rally 25. And then I also am a venture capitalist, so I go around looking for great entrepreneurs that we can give money to.
We'll keep an eye on you. Thanks for taking time to speak with us.
My pleasure, Scott. It was a true pleasure to be here. This is actually my first visit to Indianapolis.
Really?
And I hope it will not be my last.
A big part of Rally 2025 is the Media Village, and I'm right here in the heart of it. This is where deals are being made and best practices are being talked about. The Media Lounge right here, complete with an area for people to just talk, share ideas, share innovations. That's what Rally 2025 is really all about here. All along this corridor, we've got different businesses. Over there, that's a setup there for the Indianapolis Recorder. They're talking business with a variety of guests. And then over this way, Fox Business with host Charles Payne. He's here as well, talking business with big business innovators. And of course, Rally 25 couch. Well, this is where some of the biggest in business names and corporations are getting together to talk about how things are going and what they can do better. But the last but not least is our own setup here at Circle City Broadcasting. The couch is empty now, but we've got a long list of guests lined up to continue talking about innovation, inspiration, and of course business, how they can put it all together. We'll have more business, equity, and opportunities when we return.
This is business, equity, and opportunities. Access to capital.
My company name is Photon IDs.
Okay.
So my company have a mission of build a repeatable quantum computer. Yes, and our goal is integrated with the current virtual quantum processor unit, the QPU, with our hardware control system and software control system to bring a repeatable quantum computer with very, very high quantum computing accuracy. So that is our goal.
You just pitched in the pitch competition, right?
Yes, I'm a finalist of a hard tech pitch competition.
So why did you want to pitch?
Because I want to bring the brand of these Photon IDs and make it impact to the commercial, to the market, and revolution our technology and bring it to commercial. Yeah.
You hoping to win?
Of course, I always want to win, to be the winner, to get the investment. Yeah.
And if you win, what do you get if you win?
If I be the winner, I think I can get $1 million investment to my company to develop my technology. Yeah.
So that you'll be able to make a real difference with that money.
Yeah, of course, very huge impact to my company if I got the investment. Yeah.
Yeah. What if you don't win?
There's a lot of investment opportunity here. The rally bring hundreds of venture capital here. So I believe my product, and I believe the strong advantage of my product. I think there's a potential investment or potential investor would come to me.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. And so, describe again your pitch. What did you pitch? How did you pitch it?
You mean my company?
Yeah.
Yeah. My company name is Photon IDs. His target to build the first repeatable quantum computer. Yeah.
And you say repeatable quantum.
Repeatable, yes.
How does that work?
Because currently there is a couple of quantum computer, but not stable. So for example, you run the computer once, you get 95% accuracy. But you run the computer 5 times, you get 70% accuracy. Once you get 50th time, the accuracy below much lower, below than 40%, below than 30%. My goal is to correct this accuracy and make it every run of the quantum computing has a stable and repeatable accuracy.
Got it.
Yeah.
And that'll make a big difference in productivity, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, big difference compared with the current computer.
These may look like the youngest entrepreneurs on the rally floor, but they're also real veterans. They're going to join us in our studio to talk about progress through the high school hustle.
This is business, equity, and opportunities. This is business, equity, and opportunities. This Week in Business.
I hope to meet some cool people, like the networking, talking to people, talking to influential people in my life that can connect me to good people. That's really what I want to get out of it.
Yeah, similarly, just talking to lots of people here. My main thing is meeting with people and hearing from people who have been more successful than me. They've had more experience, and I can gain experience from listening to them.
Let's go back into the past. How did high school hustle sort of like enter your sphere, and kind of walk us to today, how that's helped you?
Yeah, so my business was going along before high school hustle, and then kind of just something I heard on the school announcements. You hear it and you're like, oh, they're giving away $100,000. So started to look into it, started showing up to meetings, and then that's when I really got the value. It wasn't just the money. I was meeting all these cool guys. I was getting connections everywhere. And so that's just how I got into it.
Yeah, about the same. I'm the president of our school's Entrepreneurship Club, So I've been involved in the club, and the club kind of did a merger with High School Hustle in their meetings. So I heard about it through there, and I was like, they're giving out tons of free money. You gotta tune in, right?
Something you said I think is very interesting. You heard it. What have you learned about the value of listening? Because you're talking about conversations and networking and things like that. We all have who we want to present as ourselves. How important is the listening component?
It's very important. It's just like the marketing. If High School Hustle didn't put their name out there, if our school didn't catch on to them and say it, I would have never known about this, and I wouldn't have met a lot of people that I did. So I think it was crucial that they were throwing their name around because they were trying to help people.
So he was a businessman. You're interested in the business of business in addition to your job. Was it kind of cool to hear a story like that where, yeah, that connection happened?
Yeah, definitely. Like knowing and having your ears open to new experiences is what I would say is the most valuable moment.
When we look at your businesses, do you see this as what you're doing 10, 15, 20 years from now, growing each of these huge? Or are you entrepreneurial minded and we can see you guys hop from place to place? Evan, let's start with you.
I've hopped from a few failures. I've failed a lot, different business startups. I don't plan to stay with Simply Salt 10, 15 years. I plan to have an exit at some point. Within the next 5 years is my goal.
So grow it.
Yep.
Turn it over to somebody else and go new horizons?
You find something new to get into, yep.
Yeah, I love the landscape industry, so as much as I'd love to be in it for a while, I just have that entrepreneurial mind, so I'm just like Evan, I'm hoping to make an exit and kind of just keep leveling up.
You mentioned the $100,000, or maybe you did. Where do we stand with that? What have you guys achieved? What's still ahead? Because I don't know where you stand with that. In terms of, you won anything?
Yeah, so out of the $100,000, 10 kids were going to split that much money. And as of Zionsville, me, Cruz, and another Zionsville kid, Seth Kopner, we got $10K each. So we got 30 of the $100,000.
What'd you do with it?
What I do with it? I went to paying off my car, actually.
You?
Yeah, I used some of it for some branding. So I got my truck, I got it wrapped with my company name, and just kind of been using it for back to company investments, of course.
Mower blades and stuff like that?
All sorts of that random stuff. So.
Yeah. All right, so you've got another day here. How are you going to spend the time on the floor?
Just like yesterday, I'm going to keep meeting people, keep getting stuff that's valuable to me.
Definitely the same. I mean, talking with Hunter Beal, some of these big names, it really fuels me up, pumps me up, makes me want to experience more networking, meet new people, all that good stuff.
What is it that drives both of you? Because it's clear that this is more about than water softeners and salt to you. You really enjoy this, don't you?
Yeah. What motivates me? That's a good question. Just wanting to make a name for myself, maybe. Wanting to make an impact on the world. Wanting to contribute to other people's lives really makes me fueled, makes me pumped up.
Yeah, it's kind of just about who I am. Character traits. You like freedom, you like working hard. And especially for both of us, seeing parents, our own parents are entrepreneurs, seeing that, you just want to be like them, and so you want to go make an impact yourself.
Sure that the investors can see what we're offering as an ecosystem. This is one of the many conversations going on here at Rally 2025. This is what we call creative collisions, a think space and a talk space here in the middle of the convention floor as different groups and people get together to talk business, innovation, inspiration, how they're making their businesses work in real time today. More business equity and opportunities when we return.
This Week in Business is made possible by Indie Biz Pass. This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
From the new products at Innovation Alley to what's on sale at the Rally Shop, things get the headlines here, but ideas are critically important too. Crystal Brooks is here to learn.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities, Accounting and Bookkeeping.
Crystal Brooks of Crystal Brooks Investments LLC.
Got it. And you based in Indianapolis?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, You're here at Rally. Are you presenting? Are you on a panel?
No, I'm not presenting nor on a panel. I'm looking for connections and looking for a place to bring financial wellness to entrepreneurs to the forefront of what's this booming business owner industry that's going on in Indianapolis.
So, in your company, you're looking for clients as well, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
talk about that. What's your bread and butter? What are you doing?
Well, I do 3 things, but I merge it all into one. So I am a certified financial education instructor, an independent life insurance advisor, and a certified AI master trainer. So what I do is with life insurance and financial wellness is bring it together so people can, one, understand their personal finances, get their personal financial foundation together, and then as they get out of that rut that they're in, use life insurance as a starting point to start to grow wealth. And now I'm adding in AI because we can do things on AI like create a budget worksheet, figure out our profit and loss statement. There's so many different things we can do with AI with our finances.
When you come to Rally, you're looking for best practices, right? Are you
Yes.
networking with other investors and
Yes.
talk about that?
Yes. I want to connect with investors to see what best practices are. How can I go about bringing what I'm building to the forefront to make those venture capital companies want to invest in me and what I'm doing?
What do you think you're missing in terms as a business owner? What's been your challenge, do you think, recently?
My challenge has been more so of course, funding, because I'm self-funding, and getting in front of the right people. So Rally is the place that I need to be to get in front of the right people to pitch what I'm doing.
So what's your elevator pitch?
My elevator pitch is, I use it as my tagline, the more you know, the more your finances can grow. Because as you learn about finances, you realize it's not just a tool you use to spend money, it's a tool you use to leverage and grow money and create more income producing assets.
Yeah. Piece of advice out there for somebody who's new to investing or, looking for a way to do it right, what would you say?
Yes, I would say be open-minded. Don't try to find the get-rich-quick scheme. Find a path that may take you a while to get there, but it's going to be worth it because you're just going to start building brick by brick. So start small. Start with what you're comfortable with. Then as you grow and leverage, then start looking for those bigger opportunities.
What we're offering as an ecosystem. This is one of the many conversations going on here at Rally 2025. This is what we call creative collisions, a think space and a talk space here in the middle of the convention floor as different groups and people get together to talk business, innovation, inspiration, how they're making their businesses work in real time today. More business equity and opportunities when we return.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Running your business day to day.
Planning for retirement, there is a major expense that often flies under the radar. That's taxes. For many retirees, taxes can become one of the most significant drains on their savings. So how can we manage this financial reality head on? Joining me now is Ed Wright, a partner at Golden Reserve, an Indianapolis area financial retirement planning firm, and a good friend of ours. Thanks for being here, Ed. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, of course. Why is it that you believe more retirees don't prioritize those tax strategies as part of their overall retirement planning?
Yeah, so it's so easy. You get your W-2, you get your 1099, you do all this tax work to get your taxes filed, and it's super easy to be like, we're done, right? Taxes are over and not look forward. So everybody's looking backwards at last year, and it's easy just to ignore, what could we be doing in the future to minimize our taxes next year?
Yeah, I love that idea. What are some of the most common tax mistakes that you're seeing, though, from retirees right now?
Yeah, really not having a plan for those IRA and 401k dollars. We've been saving our whole lives, we've been putting money away, and a lot of times we haven't been paying tax on that money. So that balance gets big, 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 and then we hit in retirement, and now we have to address how we're gonna pay taxes on this, when we're gonna pay taxes on it, and how much.
Are there penalties that retirees need to be mindful of in that?
Absolutely. So inside of the tax code, there are penalties written into the code. So you've got what we call the widow's penalty, where Uncle Sam can get twice as much in tax revenue from a surviving spouse. And then we've got the kiddo's penalty. You leave that IRA money to the kids or any natural people, Uncle Sam's gonna be able to get 3 times as much from them with the rules that are written into the code already.
And these are things that retirees aren't thinking of simply off the fact that, like, it's my money, I've been saving it, I've been doing whatever, financially advising it, all those things. What strategies can retirees use, though, to maybe minimize their tax liability?
Yeah, so we believe they should have a proactive approach to look at when should we be paying these taxes, right? When should we take money out of these IRAs? When should we pull money out of our 401k? Go ahead and pay the tax on it and then figure out what to do. And if we think proactively about that, we can control our tax burden.
It sounds like planning is kind of the key here, and you guys have an IRA tax plan that can help with this. How does that help?
Yeah, so we have a team of CPAs internally, and for folks that want one, we will build this IRA tax plan. Our CPAs will calculate what they could pay if they were to follow Uncle Sam's path of RMDs and just taking what they have to, versus a proactive approach, a proactive plan that would say, what would that cost? And we'll look to see if it makes sense. If it does make sense, most of the time it does, then we can look at when to take money out and how much so that they can minimize what they pay to Uncle Sam.
In terms of your roadmap for retirement, how can this help us maybe navigate that retirement planning process that we're talking about?
Yeah, so the tax plan is one part of what we call our roadmap for retirement. We think every retiree needs a roadmap to get through retirement, and so we'll build it for them. This tax plan's in there. We also look at market risk to see how much risk they're taking so they can decide if they need to make adjustments there. We'll look at fees to actually find out what they're paying for advice and guidance and investments. And then we have a long-term care plan that looks at how they can protect themselves from a nursing home stay or an in-home, end-of-life care that a lot of folks end up needing.
Yeah, it's so much information, and if you at home, if you want to learn more about minimizing taxes and maximizing your retirement, Ed has a great offer for you right now. For the first 5 callers with a portfolio of $500K or greater, he's offering a complimentary roadmap for retirement. This will allow Ed's team of retirement planners to create your IRA tax plan, fee analysis, long-term care plan, market risk report, and income forecast. And they'll do all this work for no charge or obligation. It is that important. Just call 463-777-7773. Again, that is 463-777-7773. Ed, thank you as always. We appreciate it, my friend.
Thank you.
Running your business day to day is made possible by Indy Chamber.
Technology drives so many of the conversations at Rally, from the crackling energy of the simulators from Dallara to a friend we've met before who brings a very low-tech idea to the most high-tech of fashions.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Industry Focus.
Rockland Page, what are you doing here?
I'm here actually volunteering today. I'm at the merch booth, but just wanted to be present and just get involved and check out what the business community is doing here in Indiana, Indianapolis more specifically.
Yeah, you're from the region right now.
Yes.
You know Indianapolis pretty well, though.
Yeah, I grew up here. Went to all the way up through high school. I'm a graduate of Tech High School. Yeah. Went to Ball State University and graduated in 2004. And after that, I moved to Chicago and took a job with Johnson Publishing for Jet Magazine.
So you're volunteering. What do you do when you're not volunteering?
When I'm not volunteering, I am working in my business called Rock-A-Block, right in downtown Indianapolis. It is a design studio where we focus on storytelling through apparel and design. We host events.
What you're wearing now?
Yeah, so it's one of my shirts right here,
Yep.
the Freedom Fighters shirt, which highlights black heroes throughout the ages. And it's actually interactive. It can actually come to life and talk to you through our proprietary app, Rock AR.
That seems to me the kind of thing that you want to prompt conversation.
Yes.
Like you want somebody to ask you about that shirt.
Exactly. So I created this shirt and many of my other pieces to be conversation starters. Then after a while, I got the idea, why couldn't this shirt join in on the conversation? And so through our app and through a lot of trial and error, we were able to achieve that. And so when people see Marcus Garvey come to life or Harriet Tubman come to life and speak to you, tell you the story, they're just blown away by it.
Yeah, I remember when the guys first told me about it, how excited they were about the concept. How's it played out since then? Is it living up to what your hopes were?
Yes, it's still definitely challenging. As any entrepreneur has their hills to climb and setbacks and setups, and so it's just not as simple as just typing a few lines of code or drawing a picture. There is a lot of thought that goes into this, trying to get the funding to actually produce the app, to produce the product. What a lot of people don't see behind the scenes is how much effort it takes to make something like this work.
Yeah. And I suppose that's probably true for a lot of different kind of businesses as well. Are you able to have conversations with people, maybe necessarily they aren't like locked in on what you're doing, but your experience might be able to help whatever they're doing?
Yeah, I've definitely met a lot of people who are, either, just starting out and they want advice from me, or someone who's in the same position as me, or definitely years beyond. And even when I talk about the challenges I'm having as an entrepreneur, they say, I've been there, know exactly what you're going through, you're going to get through this. Yeah. And so it's definitely encouraging to see that I'm not the only one facing certain challenges and running a business, growing a business, and taking something from a simple idea to actually a physical product or a physical service.
So I'm looking at you, you've got the energy of a lot of the folks here, excited, but I also see in your eyes you've been through some stuff.
Oh yeah.
The process between, here's my thing, to a couple years down the line, what are some of the challenges that either you're still in or you've overcome, and you can then share that hope?
Well, I think the challenge for me and a lot of other founders is funding.
Yeah.
There's only so much to go around, and it's highly competitive when you're doing pitch competitions or trying to pitch ideas or gain customers. It is definitely a grueling process at times, and it's not an overnight thing where you tell someone your idea and they just write you a check for $1 million. It takes a lot of work to convince them, to show them that there's a market fit, that the product does work, and that people actually gravitate and want this, or whatever it is you're making.
It takes more than just enthusiasm and a good idea. You need to know why it would be a good thing for somebody to invest in.
Exactly, exactly. And I think people want to see your work ethic, because a lot of people have a lot of great ideas, but they have no idea if they can weather the storm. When something doesn't work out or doesn't immediately pay off, do you view it as you're planting seeds for future growth or future harvest, or is it you're just trying to be a flash in the pan and just get the money and run?
Yeah.
So I think you have to have the guts to take the good and the bad becoming an entrepreneur.
It'd be the easiest thing in the world to let those challenges scare you off, but that has not happened with you. Why is that?
I think it's just something inside of me. They don't call me Rock for nothing. I'm pretty stubborn. When I set my mind to something, I am steadfast until I can't go anymore. And until a higher power just tells me to quit, I'm going to keep going. It is definitely challenging, but I love the thrill of it. Even though there are definitely challenges and pitfalls, there's also moments where I'm on a mountain high. And I've had opportunities that I would not have had if I stayed with my 9-to-5 job, where I was in relative obscurity. My name and my business are being mentioned in places where I'm not even there yet, in other states and other countries. And so even though there might not be something going on right now, there's definitely something being set up for future opportunities.
Anything I didn't ask you about you want folks to know?
Yeah, I'm located here right in downtown Indianapolis, Rocker Block Design Studio at 1332 North Illinois. Okay. And if you can't make it to the shop, you can definitely check us out online at rockablock.com. And yeah, just see what we have there. I design everything myself, and I'm steadily trying to grow the business. Been doing this for almost 8 years now, and I love what I do. And hopefully that love shows through in the work.
Big names, big screen, big ideas. Right after this timeout, meet the two people most responsible for all of this.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Success Story.
All right, gentlemen, this is like an annual State of the Union address now. Get you on the couch for about 5 minutes before you go your own ways. Toph, let's start with you. How's Rally been for you, day and a half into it now?
A day and a half into Rally this year has been absolutely amazing. Our theme this year is creative curiosity, and it seems so appropriate with everything with recent events, to be curious with one another, to ask questions, right, to pause before we act, and we just couldn't be more excited. The kickoff yesterday with Mr. Wonderful Kevin O'Leary, but just being real with each other, right? And I feel like the energy at Rally this year is a whole nother level of authenticity.
Emil, you're nodding deeply as you hear that.
Yes, I mean, being a part of just watching them plan Rally this year from the end of last year, and to see the thought process behind the kind of speakers you want, the experience you want people to have while they're in town, not just in the convention center, but in Indianapolis as a whole, the intentionality behind that, and actually see it happen. Right, yesterday, and just the way people feel, the energy, the questions that have been asked. You know, these are the kind of environments that put Indianapolis on the map. So many people from all over the world are here learning so much about what Toph does a good job of, just articulating the Indiana opportunity. And just to see everything happen, and then being part of planning this for 12 months, yesterday was just unbelievable.
And still a part of a day to go. Does energy at this point drive you through it? I mean, because you and your team have been working really hard on this.
So, in full disclosure, I was having an espresso martini at about 11:45 p.m. last night, and maybe 2, and somebody said, like, you're not going to be able to sleep, and like, you know, you got to be fresh for tomorrow. Like, I don't need to sleep for 72 hours. I get so much energy out of these types of things, talking to people, talking to entrepreneurs and investors and educators, policymakers. I get so much energy out of learning new things and the uniqueness of the interactions that I guess maybe I'm kind of odd, but I literally feel the fibers in my body are like red hot electric, and it's just how I feel, and it's being able to work with people like Emil, right? I mean, we're full on co-hosts this year, right? Working through Rally, and it's tough planning these types of things, and the brainstorming that goes into it. So I just get so much energy out of it. I couldn't be more blessed for the people.
He talks about those conversations that he watches and his eyes light up. That's your whole thing, is setting up meetings between people who might never have otherwise met.
Yes.
Tell me your theory when you think of, oh, I think this might work with this.
So they use a term called creative collisions that I stole as well, right? And it's just that, like, you meet someone that has told you something a year ago, that maybe starting a business or is trying to change a community, and then you run into somebody that's saying something that sounds like something you've heard, then the light comes on, like, Tony just told me that. And all of a sudden you see Tony in the hallways of Rally, and you see that same person. Now you got Tony and that person together. So last year we saw that. So we connected people last year, left it alone, and then yesterday I see both of them working together. I'm like, hey, like, remember you connected us last year? We've done this and this and this in the last 12 months. So the term creative collisions and how you see that happening here, when you walk the hallways, people don't want to leave the hallways. I feel bad for the speakers, right? Because everyone wants to connect, everyone wants to share their story, share their idea, right? So we got to force them into the rooms to go listen to the speakers. But that is the relationship building. I see the solopreneur that has 100K or less in revenue interacting with an investor that has invested $30 million. That person doesn't need, in other environments, those two people don't interact. Here, they're having creative collisions, like strong conversations that solopreneur leaves so fulfilled. Because now I took a picture with this investor, they listened to my idea, they gave me some tips. So kudos to the team for just creating such an environment at a time where, as a growing city and a growing region, we need to inspire people. People need energy that, hey, good stuff can happen. Yeah. So I just see that so much. We saw that last year, we saw that in year 1, and that's why we are part of co-hosting Rally. We think this is the timing of Rally. at the time we are in our region, the growth of our region, and then building something like this that just brings people together from across the world, truly, right? And from all kind of socioeconomic backgrounds.
I want to seize on something that you mentioned. I want both of your thoughts on it. You mentioned the solopreneur. You know our broadcast.
That's our stock and trade.
Those are our friends and neighbors. How important is it, as they eagerly give their message out, for them to be listening during those creative collisions, for them to be seeking information as much as they are trying to put out, here's what I have?
So, first of all, the environment has to be created first. So I say this sometimes, like we take for granted certain things, like, hey, this has always been here, but it hasn't. We didn't have an environment like this, where you can have that solopreneur interacting with and listening to Kevin O'Leary, and actually taking things that he said and applying. He gave some tips yesterday. I saw people like, man, the things he shared about just your day and how to be focused and locked in, I need to do that. We have so many creatives, people taking pictures that just started their business, but they're here interacting with people. So if you don't create the environment for things like this to happen, it just doesn't happen. So, you know, Toph having the vision, I remember when he shared this to me, I was like, oh, whatever. But he said, hey, we're gonna do this, and it's gonna be the biggest cross-sector innovation conference in the world, and here we are 3 years later. We got panels with the African Diaspora Network, right? The Nigerian Diaspora Commission. Like hundreds of Nigerians and Africans are here at Rally.
Speaking alongside education leaders.
Exactly. So, like, we just didn't have that, and to see that actually happen, and sometimes that's, okay, that was actually created.
Yeah. I know you two don't spend more than 5 minutes in anyone same place any one time. Two quick questions. One, a word about branding, because you both show up in the letter sweaters, which is brilliant. How important is it when you build something like this? Rally 25 is a deal, you know?
Yes. I think it's immensely important. And what we're trying to build with this brand is emotion, evoking emotion. I think Muhammad came up with these when he showed up with these. I'm like, I'm buying one right now.
Likewise.
I feel like we're in Hoosiers, right?
Likewise.
The old movie Hoosiers. So it's incredibly important, right? The brand has to talk to everyone that you're going after from an audience standpoint. But the core is it evoking emotion? Did I feel something? Did I have an experience I'm gonna remember? Because people remember experiences.
Yeah. You bought it too.
No, I did. But like he said, so we have people doing podcasts with a Rally background. But that podcast is going to be watched by thousands all over the world, right? But when you see that name, what do you, like Toph said, what do you feel? What do you remember? Because people remember how you made them feel, right?
Yes.
So when you walk into the doors, and this year was even taken a lot further, right? When you land at the airport, right? Last night at a lot of the after events, just seeing the amount of people out and about, interacting, building social capital. Right. So when they leave and they think of Rally, right, they think of how they felt, but they also think of Indianapolis. So in 3 years, which is like, things don't happen that fast. In 3 years, there's still so much to do, just being a part of organizing this year. But the way the people that came last year, that came back this year, that we just see, that look, this is part of my annual thing now. You know, I'm going to be in Indianapolis for Rally. We had people leave the United Nations General Assembly in New York to fly to Indy last night, and some even got in this morning to be part of this. So, you know, again, in 3 years to build something like that and just continue growing, but it's all around the way they felt when they came last year. The things they've seen about the city that say, you know what, I didn't even know this was happening in Indianapolis. So, in the year one, it was come to Rally. It's like, Indiana for what? Year three, we got people telling other people that you got to come to Rally. Yeah.
Is this relationship still blooming? This was starting this time last year. Elevate, we got InnoPower, we got Rally.
I feel like we're on a rocket ship, but I also feel like, I feel like we're here and we still have so much room to even just, I think we're still scratching the surface on what we can do, right? We're crushing it, I feel like, and there's still so much headroom.
And so we've had people say, Hey, look, last year we had Denton Richards. Denton Richards was actor on Yellowstone.
Yep.
Denton moved to Botswana. He left last year and said, look, how can I bring this to Botswana? I said, well, we can help you think about a conference. I said, no, I want Rally.
That's gratifying.
I was like, we never even thought about it. Like, he goes, I never even thought about that, right? This year, he called again, like, I'm serious, right? So the Rally relationship, like I said, there's so many organizations, companies in Indianapolis, in the state of Indiana. So when you think about Warsaw, Indiana, right, and everything that's happening there, right, the whole Warsaw needs to be a rally. Right, there's so many things, but in the midst of organizing, you're reaching out to people and you start realizing there's so much. So like Tobe said, like we're here and there's just so much to do, is just getting started.
All right, hit the thrusters. Go make that happen.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go.
Thanks, fellas.
That wraps up Rally, but it barely starts our coverage on business equity and opportunities. Derek, over the next couple of weeks, we're going to see a lot more of these.
Absolutely. Between the both of us, we've interviewed a lot of people here, entrepreneurs, small business owners, people just looking for connection. But we would be remiss without thanking the organizers of Rally 2025 for having us here. They've been so welcoming and so helpful in our coverage as a media sponsor for this media village that we're in.
Yeah, they've let us build a whole TV studio. Hopefully you've enjoyed the coverage so far. BEOshow.com, our website, where you can always find the segments you saw today, those you will see in the future, and anything of all the past years that we've done. Also, our YouTube channel, still new, but we're putting everything there as well, and the newsletter that we put out every week, updated on a Tuesday with new information that can help you in your business path. Thank you for spending some time with us. Again, a lot more Rally to come over the next few weeks. Until then, have a great Sunday.
We'll see you next time.
Business Equity and Opportunities is made possible by Bose McKinney and Evans, Eskenazi Health, Indy Biz Pass, Indy Chamber, and Lilly, a medicine company.